lost what wits she had ever had, and poor Edward would be turning in his grave if he knew. It was one of the many burdens of Grandmama's life that she had lived long enough to see it. "No desire at all," she repeated. Emily stood quite still in the middle of the withdrawing-room, the firelight casting a warm glow on her skin and the extravagant coils of her hair. "I'm sorry, Grandmama, but as I said, there really is no choice," she repeated. "Jack and I are leaving tomorrow, and there's a great deal of packing to do, as we shall be gone for at least 3 weeks. You had better take a good supply of warmer gowns and boots, and you may borrow my black shawl if you would care to." "Good gracious! Can they not afford a fire?" Grandmama said furiously. "Perhaps Joshua should consider a more respectable form of employment, if there is anything else on earth he is fitted for." "It has nothing to do with money," Emily retorted. "They are spending Christmas in a house on the south coast of Kent, the Romney Marshes to be exact. I dare say the wind will be chill, and one often feels the cold more when away from home." Grandmama was appalled. In fact, she was so appalled it was several seconds before she could find any words at all to express her horror. "I think I misheard you," she said icily at last. "You mumble these days. Your diction used to be excellent, but since your marriage to Jack Radley, you have allowed your standards to slip in several areas. I thought you said that your mother is going to spend Christmas in some bog by the sea. As that is obviously complete nonsense, you'd better repeat yourself and speak properly." "They have taken a house in Romney Marsh," Emily said with deliberate clarity. "It is near the sea, and I believe the views will be very fine, if there is no fog, of course." Grandmama looked for impertinence in Emily's face, and saw an innocence so wide-eyed as to be highly suspicious. "It is unacceptable," she said in a tone that would have frozen water in a glass. Emily stared at her for a moment, regathering her thoughts. "There is too much wind at this time of year for there to be much fog," she said at last. "Perhaps you can watch the waves." "In a marsh?" Grandmama asked sarcastically. "The house is actually in St. Mary's-in-the-Marsh," Emily replied. "It is very close to the sea. It will be pleasant. You don't have to go outside if it is cold and you don't wish to." "Of course it will be cold. It is on the English Channel in the middle of winter. I shall probably catch my death." To give her credit, Emily did look a little uncomfortable. "No, you won't," she said with forced cheer. "Mamma and Joshua will look after you very well. You might even meet some interesting people." "Stuff and nonsense," Grandmama said furiously. Nevertheless, the old lady had no choice, and the next day she found herself sitting with her maid Tilly in Emily's carriage. It made slow progress out of the city traffic, then sped up as it reached the open road south of the river and proceeded towards Dover, roughly 145 miles southeast of London. Of course, she had known the journey would be dreadful. To make it in one day, she had set out before dawn, and it would be midnight before they reached whatever God-forsaken spot in which Caroline had chosen to spend Christmas. Heaven alone knew what it would be like. If they were in trying circumstances, it might be no more than a cottage without civilized facilities, and so cramped she would spend the entire time forced into their company. It was going to be the worst Christmas of her life. Emily's thoughtlessness in gallivanting off to France, of all places, at this time of year, was beyond belief. It was an outrage against all family loyalty and duty. The day was grey and still, and mercifully the rain was no more than a spattering now and then. They stopped for luncheon and to change the horses, and again a little after 4 o'clock for afternoon tea. By that time, naturally, it was dark, and she had not the faintest idea where she was. She was tired, her legs were cramped from the long sitting, and unavoidably she was rattled and jolted around with the constant movement, and of course it was cold, perishingly so. They stopped again to inquire the way as lanes grew narrower.